Hello people, this is John Manimus coming to you again with John Manimus writing campaign video number 4. It's a chilly October 20th, 2019, and it's amazing just to contemplate what might be going on in the country 1 year from now. People will be scared, people will be worried, I think, about all the things that have happened politically, the mess we're in, and what a difficult challenge it's going to be to decide who to vote for and how to vote. And I certainly hope that the non-voters know that they're getting a warning. You have to register to vote. Even if you registered, don't forget, if you registered a few years ago and you moved, you have to register where you are. Your registration isn't statewide, it certainly isn't nationwide, but it isn't even statewide. You register in the town or city where you reside. And if you've moved since you last registered, you have to re-register where you live. So this video is about the arithmetic. You see, this is not just an ideology. It might be described as a liberal ideology because we favor a majority rule and real democracy. That's why we call this project the Real Democracy Party and the Revolution by Vote. Of course, this looks to some people like a liberal ideology, but our real ideology is arithmetic. That's why I call this video arithmetic. So first I'm just going to describe it in words, and then with some numbers printed on a page. So first of all, 60% of the people who are eligible to vote. Approximately 30% elect the winner, 31%, 32%, depends on whether there's a small third party or not. And so they get slightly more than half of the votes cast, and that person gets 270 electoral votes, usually. Those who win the popular vote get the electoral vote, although occasionally it doesn't work that way. In 2016, Hillary Clinton got about between 2 and 3 million more popular votes than Donald Trump, but Donald Trump won big in some states, and so he got more electoral votes because if you win, even if you win only slightly in a state, you get all that state's electoral votes, and that's how Donald Trump won. In 3 large states, he won by a small margin, but he got all those states' electoral votes, and that's how he was elected president. And we need to remember how that electoral system works in 2020. So, in 2020, it is predictable that there's going to be one or more third parties, and let's just say they're going to get about 2% of the popular vote, or the electoral votes, I should say. And then one two-party candidate, probably Donald Trump, will get, say, 31%. The other candidate gets 29%. And that big voting bloc that you belong to if you don't usually vote represents about 38%. And that means if you came out to vote for a candidate who's neither a Democrat nor a Republican, the candidate you voted for would get elected. Because if in any state, except for Nebraska and Maine, if in any other state, 48 states, one candidate gets more votes than the others, that's called a plurality, that candidate gets all the state's electoral votes. So that means in any state where the non-two-party candidate, such as myself, John Manimus, running as a write-in candidate, if I got the 38% or the 37% or even 36%, that would be more than any other candidate. And the non-voters can elect the president if they choose to be active voters instead of passive voters, which does no good at all and just maintains the destructive system that we have, the two-party system that maintains and protects minority rule. So here it is with the numbers. Notice usually approximately 31% are the votes that go to the winner. 31% of all the people who are eligible to vote, 29% to the loser, 40% don't vote. And you'll notice that the winner got 31%, 69% did not vote for the winner. Sometimes that's a different split on the two parties. Sometimes one of the two-party candidates gets, say, maybe 33%, and the loser gets 27%. There's still 40% not voting. Now let's look what happened, what's likely to happen in 2020. We usually have 31% say for the Republican, 29% for the Democrat. 40% could be the winner. That's right. If the non-voters came out to vote, the winner would not be the Democrat or the Republican, but the party or the person that the non-voters came out to vote for. The split could be bigger. There could be 35% for the Republican or the Democrat and 25% for the other party, the Republican or the Democrat, 2% for the third. There's still 38% left, and if that 38% was actually a vote rather than just absentees, people who didn't vote, the candidate who got 38% of the popular vote in each state would be the winner of all that state's electoral votes. And if that happened in enough states, the candidate who was neither a Democrat or Republican could be elected. So that's the arithmetic. That's the point that I want the non-voters to understand how powerful they are or could be if they decided to vote. Now there's more going on here, and it's very important because the revolution by vote, or the protest vote I should say, could really operate on three different levels. The easiest to accomplish is in a sense the least effective, but I believe it would still be effective. It would just be a protest vote, a protest write-in vote, unofficial. To have that happen, we non-voters need do nothing except register to vote, and then on November 20th election day, on November 2020 election day I should say, cast their ballot as a write-in ballot for president, write-in John Minimus. That would be a protest vote. Now, people will say that those votes wouldn't be counted, but what I'm pretty sure that means, quite sure, it means if I'm not officially registered in the state as a write-in candidate for president, those votes don't count to get me electoral votes. They don't count to get me elected because I'm not officially registered. But I don't think it means the votes, those write-in votes would be totally ignored. They would be recorded and reported. I'm quite sure, especially if there's, say, 10,000 in one state, 50,000 in another state, 1 million in another state. I mean, if people cast write-in ballots in high numbers, thousands and thousands or millions, they will be recorded and reported, and this will be a message. And I believe that this is worthwhile, even if we do not make it official in all the states or some of the states. Now, the second level could be partial. That is, in each state, in order to be, for John Minimus to be registered as a write-in candidate, there would have to be a handful of people who constitute themselves as the officers of a chapter of the Real Democracy Party. They would have to learn their state's election rules and how to be registered or certified as a write-in candidate. And then they would also have to appoint electors. Right. You can do it. Why not? The revolutionaries, like I said in the last video, they got up in the middle of the night, took their weapons with them and their winter clothes, and went marching through the snow for the dream of democracy. We should be able to do this if people want to. This is what this is all about. Myself and a small group of people want to give the non-voters something more to vote for, some encouragement. So if you don't ever want to vote for a Republican and you never want to vote for a Democrat and you don't even want to vote for a third party, you have a fourth reason. You have a fourth option. You can come and write in John Manamus. And when you do that, you're sending a clear message. You're tired of the two-party system. You're afraid of it. You believe it has really become dangerous to American democracy because it is so dysfunctional. So you want to retire the two-party system. You want ranked choice voting, fusion voting, party coalitions between major and minor parties. You want a democratic system. You want election reforms that will motivate everyone to vote who's eligible to vote. And you want us to get majority rule from our elections. That's what your write-in vote means at whatever level it is. Now, the maximum level would be, of course, if this really catches on, if people really get the message and say, hey, we need to do this, we should do this, we need to let the two-party people know that we're done. We're out. We don't want to be part of this anymore. We don't want a two-party system. We want a multi-party system. And so people in every state, all 50 states, will form a chapter of the Real Democracy Party, nominate electoral, nominate, actually, beyond nominate, actually select electors for that state, for your state, and get John Manamus registered as a write-in candidate. Then it would be official, and it would be real, and it would be a real threat. And you watch, if the non-voters did this, you'd see a big and rapid change in attitude in all candidates. Suddenly, they'd be interested in listening to the voters. That's what would happen. And that's what we have to do if you want the candidates to listen. They'll only listen if they have to listen. And they don't have to listen in the two-party system. They're protected by gerrymandering, voter suppression, and all the other corrupt things they do, especially the lobbying. They get all the money they need to fight and, make themselves known in their districts or their states and get themselves elected because they get the money from their corporations who they then represent instead of representing you. So the arithmetic is posted online with other data, or will be soon, with all the other data that's already there at realdemocracyparty.org. Thanks for listening. See you next time.